This is question number 15 for wetlands and wetheads. This is our favorite type of question. So it says, which of these is the best summary of the selection? I know a summary has to talk about the beginning and middle and end, and it without any details, and it certainly doesn't have any missing information. It has all the main ideas. And so if I look at my answer choices, answer choice A says, Al Smith, a retired biologist, was concerned about the loss of freshwater wetlands. In 1997, he had an idea to turn an area of abandoned farmland into man-made wetland. With the help of a student organization, I can stop reading because at this point I already know that there are too many details. How do I know that? If I go back to my annotations, I know that the majority of this passage is of heads, the people who manage the lands, so the volunteers. And so it talks about what wetlands are, how the wetlands got started, what wetheads do, how many people they teach, the impact, their awards, and the benefits of. And so I need something that talks mostly about who these volunteers are and what they do. So if I look at this one, it talks about the center and how it educates. It has one sentence in it about wetheads, and then it adds so many details. It says more than 4,000 visitors each year. That's a detail. And not paid for the time they spend at the center. That's not a primary focus of the text, but it's a detail. And so I can cross that one out already. I'm going to look at answer choice D before I get to the right answer. And so answer choice D is wrong because it has too many details again. So it says when he noticed a piece of abandoned property. It doesn't matter that it was an abandoned piece of property. And it talks about 35 acres of unused farmland, 4,000 students, and that they're known as wetheads. There's just too many details in there. And so I'm going to go to answer choice C. And I actually wrote out the paragraph numbers that correspond with each sentence so I could prove that this is my best summary because it has all the pieces of the article. And so let's read it together. It says, in 1997, a retired biologist, Al Smith, had the idea to create a man-made wetland and helped found the Tantramar Wetland Center. That information summarizes paragraphs 1 and 2. Today, high school students who volunteer at the center help with research and lead educational programs for thousands of visitors. That summarizes paragraphs 3 and 4 really well. These students, known as wetheads, received recognition for their efforts to teach others why wetlands need served. That talks about the reward or the awards that they received in paragraphs 5 and 6. So that is absolutely a fantastic summary of the entire article, and that would be my answer.